Welcome to the Phoenix Prosperity Podcast, where wealth meets legacy. Join your host, Tim Fergestad, as we explore the journeys of Phoenix's finest to success and beyond.
All right. Hello, this is Tim Fergestad. Thank you for joining us. I'm very pleased to have Gabe Alvarez with me here today. Gabe is currently the Assistant Director of Player Development in his 19th year with the San Francisco Giants. Very cool. Welcome to the show, Gabe.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me. Good to be here.
All right. Can you tell me, tell our viewers and listeners and everything, what that job entails right now in your current role there, and then maybe how you got into it?
Sure. Yeah. So like I said, 19 years. So the roles and responsibilities have evolved with time and with need.
Sure.
I'm in my current role. I tend to manage the off-field logistics that it takes to run our minor league operations, everything from budgets to contracts to all the fun different paperwork, rules, and regulations that come with how we operate. Organizational and departmental, philosophies and policies for how we operate, and just kind of making sure that we have the structure in place for everyone to succeed and feel supported properly is really kind of the big role, while all the meantime making sure that the players have their needs and that we're fulfilling all our obligations with the league. So
okay. How long have you is that position been based in Arizona?
Yeah, so I'm based in Arizona out of our player development facility out here in the Valley. 19 years. So yeah, I've been in Arizona since 2009. And naturally the titles have evolved over time. Sure.
Okay. It's just not intuitive that a San Francisco team would have facilities elsewhere, right?
Yeah, so kind of, everyone enjoys the spring training time out here in the Phoenix Valley. But I think what a lot of folks don't realize is half the league has their spring training facilities out here, and out of those facilities, most teams operate their minor league operations out of. There's the Arizona Rookie League, which is for their kind of youngest players needing the most development that happens out here. So it's not just the spring training period. There's a lot of baseball that happens really from January till early November out here at the facility. So really development is year round, and those facilities are buzzing, and we're no different than, any of the other teams that have facilities out here.
Okay. And same thing goes for the Citrus League. A lot of people have their minor league
headquarters the other half
Florida.
Are in Florida. Okay. Correct. Yeah. Okay. So it's the same thing. Yep.
Okay. Come from Minnesota. I played most sports, hockey and stuff, but I was surprised at how serious people take their baseball down here. My son played 7 or 8 seasons maybe in baseball, and I coached some little league and all that, which was great. But people are very serious about their baseball here.
Oh yeah, well, it seems wherever if there's regular sunshine, there's going to be passionate baseball being played. And yeah, you're right. Out here in the Valley, there's a great kind of youth baseball, high school baseball kind of development opportunity out here with all the different really competitive leagues. There's a lot of really competitive high schools out here, and a lot of people that are in position to really kind of invest in their kids and in the sport, and they take it very seriously. They're very passionate and very competitive, so it's fun. I enjoy it.
Right. So does that mean some of those, like you mentioned, the rookie leagues and some of the other minor team opportunities are particularly well suited here to draw from the local population, or is it people come from all over the world to participate here?
I mean, the Phoenix Valley for high schools is highly scouted. It seems every year that there's a couple really high priority players for the draft coming out of high school, and then on top of it you have ASU that's out here, GCU, very very competitive baseball at the D1 level, and then U of A right down the road. So the Valley and the state of Arizona tends to produce a lot of quality baseball. It's probably one of the better states in the union when it comes to the baseball that it produces. And then, like we said earlier, with the spring training facilities out here, what you also end up seeing is a ton of players and former players who decide to stay in the valley, and then their kids are growing up. So you see that second generation of kids. You go,
Right.
I feel like I know that last name, and it's always like, oh, well, that's so and so's kid, and that that's this former player's kid, and so kind of neat to see the former athletes stay in the valley and kind of be a part of just the next generation there.
Sure. Very cool. Very cool. And can you speak a little bit about, well, first of all, just to bookend the high school thing, mostly what I see when I see somebody sign some sort of contract or commitment is pitchers. Is that still the bias for kids who can throw at that age?
I think you see it all across the diamond. Pitchers, and
Okay.
infielders, outfielders. I think you just have a ton of athletes at different spots out here.
Okay.
I think pitchers get a lot of the attention just because the velocity numbers tend to catch people's attention, and so when
Okay.
somebody starts popping numbers in the mid 90s and in high school, everyone kind of their eyes start bugging a little bit at what the potential is there. For
Right.
hitters, there's not as much data on, say exit velocities or the power that they produce. So that kind of brings less eyeballs. But once you start hearing, hey, so and so is hitting 94, 95, 96 plus, everyone kind of goes,
Right.
oh, holy moly, there's some real talent here at a young age.
Right. Okay. And then sort of a follow-up to that is, at what level do you work on player development? Is it all throughout the system from when they first come in? Okay. Yeah,
Correct. Yeah.
why don't you walk us through how all the different hats involved in that?
Sure. So the two real paths that feed into player development are our international scouting group and our amateur scouting group. Our amateur scouting group is focused on amateur domestic players, so players playing in the United States and Canada, including Puerto Rico, at the high school level, junior college, and at the 4-year universities. And so they're scouting those guys, and once they're draft eligible, which is the high school seniors, any of the junior college kids, or any guy at a 4-year university who's spent 3 years, or 2 if they entered at a little older age. But once they're draft eligible, drafting them, and as soon as they are drafted, and if they come to terms on a contract, they become professional players, and they feed right into me. And on the international side, our international scouts are the ones, scouting the next class of 16 and 17-year-old international amateur prospects. And once those guys sign, those guys go to our academy in the Dominican Republic to
Hmm.
play in the rookie complex league down there. And as players produce and kind of earn the opportunity to come up to Arizona and continue with the next level, kind of they end up coming with me. But really, from our academy down to the Dominican Republic, all the way through our Arizona Rookie League to our low A in San Jose, high A in Eugene, Oregon, double A in Richmond, Virginia, and triple A in Sacramento, all those players kind of fall under my purview from an operations standpoint.
Okay. And what are some of the challenges associated with that being spread out, but also all the range of ages and abilities and needs of those different players?
I think that's really where experience really comes into play, and understanding what the common needs and concerns might be for the different levels and age groups, and also the different types of backgrounds. A domestic guy, an international guy, a high school kid versus a college kid, all those different things. I think only experience can really kind of go, hey, these guys tend to need further explanation when it comes to these philosophies on field, off field, have these types of needs. I mean, college, those guys are on a college campus, and a college coach is able to kind of handle all the different parts on and off field with those guys. And so if we end up bringing a guy in from high school, then it's really our responsibility to make sure that we understand the player's needs on and off field, and making sure it's not just player development, but also doing the personal development as a person as well, so
Sure.
that they can kind of understand what a professional process is like, and really take hold of their development.
Right. Right. There's I don't remember the actual statistic, but I heard something. It was something to the effect of young men in America, right? If they can get to their mid 20s without like any major problems, right, like that their odds of being incarcerated drop by like 6,000% or something, right?
Oh,
So it's a
sure,
testament.
sure.
It's a testament to like the power of hormones and everything else in young males, particularly probably athletes who are just going right. A lot of demands, a lot of new things that they're dealing with. It's you see them in the news, right? They struggle with some of that notoriety and that attention early on. Uh, is that particularly problematic, or do you have? I mean, because you said that, like, yeah, a lot of it's personal development, right? They're kids, really.
Yeah, but I think for a player usually to get um, to the professional ranks, they will have to have had to have worked very hard
Okay, a lot of discipline
for a
already.
while. Yeah, so they've already had a lot of that discipline ingrained in them. A lot of the
Okay,
consistency that it takes to make good choices on a daily basis to get to where you're trying to get to.
okay,
A lot of it is already ingrained. They're certainly not perfect. None of us are. And so there is a little bit of that, but I don't think I think these guys come in with a professional um, understanding of
nice.
what needs to be done on a day-to-day basis to succeed. And so I don't think we have the same challenges that maybe exist in society, but probably
Yeah.
some of it do. Some guys
Okay.
come from different backgrounds and different levels of resources and support, and so sometimes there is some of that, but probably not to the heightened degree that maybe we
Okay.
see across society.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. So on average, I imagine these are all pretty impressive individuals that come across your program.
No doubt. I mean, just the sheer numbers, the number of kids that are playing baseball at all amateur levels, just to get looked at and get selected and sign a contract. You're really the cream of the crop when it comes to that. So yeah, really impressive people.
Okay.
Yeah, we just had our new draft class show up here about a week and a half ago, and you're just kind of seeing the different bodies and um, the people that you bring into the building. You look at them and you go, yeah, I understand why you've had success and why you're here. It's an impressive group.
Right. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. It's got to be inspiring to be hanging out with a lot of, just a bunch of successful high achievers, right? And the system is set up pretty well. You guys have been doing well for a long time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and yeah, I think that's the great thing is, they're the best of the best from their pool, and they come into this pool, and now they got to compete. And if you believe that competition, is the driver of all elements in society, it's no different in sport. It's keep up and succeed, or the game, kind of passes you by. So it's a really competitive environment, and so being able to kind of manage everything that is possible at your fingertips every single day becomes critically important. And the people who do that
Right.
the best tend to be the ones that have success.
Right. Right. You reminded me, speaking of this topic, Tom Brady puts out like his own personal newsletter nowadays. Are you familiar with it? Have you heard anything about it?
Not his, but there's
No.
there's a lot of folks. So I'm literally just staring at my email, and there's like five or six different people whose
Right.
newsletters I follow just because
Okay.
I appreciate the way they think and see the
Right.
world.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's I enjoy his. I don't know, for a few months now I've been reading his. It's called 199. I think that was his original draft position.
Okay. Oh yeah, sixth round, 190, pick 199. Absolutely. We all remember those combine pictures where you go, that guy? Okay.
Yep, yep. But yeah, it's. I think that's a really good one. His is particularly useful as well. So shout out to anyone listening who wants to. He's a big fan of systems, right, and
Yes,
structure, and so
very
he's
much so.
stoic and all that. But he's in a space now where he talks about business and the industry and the sports industry, and he's a commentator now, and he wears all sorts of hats and as a family
Yeah.
man and trying to balance all that. And there's a lot of really good. He does a really good job with it anyway. So I thought
Yeah,
I'd
no
share.
doubt.
Um, and imagine people in the sports industry could get some extra appreciation out of it.
Yeah.
But to your point, yeah, also sports sort of simplifies those lessons in life, right? Everything's competitive, right? And it's hard. And that's actually one of the things I liked about, I think it was Tom Brady again, when he was talking about why everyone should play sports, because they're hard.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't get better at anything without being pushed to your limits and learning either how to make the adjustments or getting bigger and stronger, and either physically, or if you're talking about the business world, how you get stronger with your processes or with your staffing, whatever the concept is. I mean,
Right.
competition's competition, and it's really about who does it best and who does it most efficiently.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's a different frame of saying that. What I was just telling my kids is that the world is basically works off of competency, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. All right. So, Gabe, what's one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome in your career?
I think it's just kind of keeping a pulse of where the game is going. After 2 decades in the game, the game evolves in um, one, in the technology and data that is available, and
Mhm.
one, how you go, what you need to do to collect that data, understand the value of the data, and how you enact it in your processes, and how you institute that in kind of how you teach, but also how the game evolves with people. The players that were here 2 decades ago um, aren't like the players that are here today. Just different resources, different understandings. Guys today come in with really advanced understandings on a lot of different parts, but also have different personalities compared to the
Sure.
bunch from 20 years ago. And so, kind of just keeping your finger on the pulse of who's in your building, and what they best need to be put in a position to have success.
Okay.
That's probably the most important part.
Okay. Okay. We talked about how impressive everybody coming in is in general, right? They're hardworking. They've
Yeah,
been uh, schooled in some of the finer things in terms of staying on track, and
yeah.
but in your career you must have seen some of the changes in uh, generations, right? Where they right, this instant gratification and stuff, where they don't have the patience of maybe of ex of older players and stuff, which comes with time, but also I think with phones and just the speed with which they grow up with. It's a different culture. Is that impacting the industry?
I think it's I think for anyone in any sport, I think just kind of reminding your players what the process looks like, and what
Okay.
the key points are to measuring how successful you're being is really, really important, just so that their eyes are focused on the right things. Because if you just use the phones and social media and the awareness to other people, that doesn't give you the clear picture of what was needed for that person to have success. So making sure that you present that picture to them is I think really important, because if not, it's easy to get caught up into the comparison game and go, well, the player X who made it to the major leagues at age 19 and was an all-star by age 20. Why isn't that happening for me? Where you go, well, okay, this is what that person did, and these were their skills and abilities, and um, you know this is where you're at, and this is what you're going to have to do if you want to get to that level, or just the basic understanding of, like, this is where you are as a player, and these are the areas that you need to continue to stay focused on, so you can develop into the type of player that you dream of being. But yeah, I think presenting the realities of the path, and making sure that you're being honest and clear about what this is all about, is really important, because if you allow the phone to dictate the understanding, you're going to be in a little bit of hurt for sure.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Good answer. So, um, along those lines, what are some of the things maybe people don't understand or know about what in player development, or misconceptions even about what you do?
I think one of them is just how many levels of minor leagues there are. I
Okay.
think it throws off the average person. They might have an understanding that there's a minor league system, and they go, "Oh, so you're going to AAA?" And you go, "No, he's starting off at the Arizona complex level, and if he develops the way we all envision for him and produces, he'll go up to low A, and if he does well there, he goes to high A, and if he does well there, it's double A, then triple A, and then getting onto the major league roster." And so it's a long journey. It's not like the NFL or NBA where as soon as you get drafted, you're on that major roster.
Right.
There, here you get drafted, and the common fan may not hear that person's name for another 3, 4, 5 years,
Right.
if at all. And so it's a little bit of a different path for people, and I
Okay.
don't think folks kind of understand what. I'm not a big fan of the word grind, just because I think it's overused by people. I think it's lost its definition a bit, but the minor league process is absolutely a grind. It's a weeding out process of who can and who can, and so yeah, I think folks don't capture, but the common person doesn't capture what that journey really is like.
Right. Right. Kind of, again, that's maybe a cultural thing of that overnight success. Everybody thinks
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, whatever, overnight
Yep.
success. Like, actually, that's like decades of hard work and
Yeah,
struggle on her part.
1,000%, 1,000%. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. If you could snap your fingers and change one thing in your business or career right now, what would it be?
Ooh, change one thing.
Yeah.
Um, I think the game of baseball, and especially in the minor leagues, has gone through some changes over the last few years. In the way players are supported and resources provided for them, and there's been some really cool changes in that area. And so I think had you asked me that question probably 10 years ago, I probably may have pointed to a couple opportunities that I thought were necessary. But I think the game has grown to a really good place where I think you're proud of how players have information and resources available to them to so that they can just focus on their on-field production and development process. Um, what I would change right now, I don't. I think the game's in a pretty good place right now. I don't know that I have anything that I'd want to change, other than
Okay.
our,
Okay.
than always being competitive in-house and wanting to see as much development as we can get from our players and raising their ceilings as much as we can. But that's just me being
Right.
selfish and competitive.
Haha. All right. That's a big driving factor. So how
Yeah.
much of your work and impact has been local here in the Arizona markets?
It's really for me. It's just the inside the facility, inside of our system. I don't know that I have. I don't know that I have an impact in the community per se, just because there's not. Um, I'm not. Spring training would probably be the area where the team really connects with the outer community
The
here in the
locals?
valley.
Okay.
But that's more on the major league side, and that's more on the kind of the business side takes care of that. Being on the
Right.
baseball side and the minor leagues, it's really just kind of an in-house process. So we don't really kind of connect too much with the outside world. There'll be opportunities. We encourage our players kind of getting involved in some community service aspects in the valley, just to
Okay.
kind of kind of making sure that we never forget sight of the big picture in
Right.
life, and kind of making sure that the guys are thinking about the world outside of themselves, and don't become too
Right.
obsessed with their on-field journey. So we'll do those
Helps keep them
types of
grounded.
things 1,000%. So we'll do those types of things, but I'm nothing that I want to start hanging my hat on and acting like we're doing
Mm.
something tremendous in the community. You just kind of
Okay.
find your
Sure.
spots to be an asset to the local community, and you do those things. But yeah, nothing of tremendous significance.
Sure, sure. And I imagine it, right? It kind of comes and goes as needed, right? Sometimes people need to regrind. Shaq, I got to meet Shaq a couple of years ago, and he was talking about when his dad helped, had to recalibrate his son and took Shaq out and into some back streets and said, "See this family living in cardboard? You go fix that." Right? And it was
Yeah,
like, okay.
absolutely.
He was complaining about something on the court, and he's like, "Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
recalibrate."
perspective is a wonderful thing.
Right. Right. Okay. Thank you for that. All right.
Yeah.
Now, as we wrap up the interview, are there any initiatives or exciting plans you have coming up the rest of this year, maybe, or for the next season?
No, I think really like our sights are always on kind of the either season or camp that we're currently in, and then always trying to um, map out what's coming in the next month and what the next couple months look like. That it's just a kind of a never ending cycle. You can be in the period right now. We just wrapped up our Arizona Rookie League here a couple days ago. And now we're looking to our kind of late summer, early fall camp with some of our young minor league guys and draftees, and making sure that the onboarding process with those guys is strong. So guys kind of have an understanding of what we're asking of them on and off the field. And after that, it will be some off-season camps, and then you're getting into some off-season kind of roster management and tidying up of reviewing organizational practices and policies and manuals and all that, and then you get right into January camps and spring training, and just kind of the ball just keeps rolling
Okay.
onto the next
Okay.
thing. So
So,
yeah, just kind of keeping eyes on what our fall activity is going to be.
okay. Sounds like a pretty well-oiled machine. Yeah, it's always got things going on.
Oh, you better keep up because it's going to keep spinning. So we don't have a choice but to do so.
Okay, right. Nice. So, for the most part, people in the system, right? If they're in school ball or clubs or um, college, even the system is already geared up. People don't have to go find you to learn more. If they're in the system automatically will find them and nurture them. Is that
Yes, yeah,
fair to say?
especially out here in the valley where there's just a ton of resources. There's a ton of it's a market that is well evaluated and also well networked. So you don't see people kind of slipping through the cracks too much on the amateur side. You might need more word of mouth when you're in kind of the more rural parts
Okay.
of America. The kind of on the east or in the south sort of thing. But even those guys, the scouting community is tremendous at staying in contact with people and kind of hearing if there's any sort of uh, evolution in a player that maybe no one had heard that's out in kind of those rural towns. Like they communicate really well. Guys don't slip through the cracks the way they did probably 20, 30 years ago.
Huh.
And
Okay.
especially now with phones and social media, like that
Right.
player who knows is playing pretty well, but he's kind of in the sticks. As long as he's got Wi-Fi, he can put up some
Yeah. Highlight
video, and
reel. Yeah.
he can communicate with people on the outside world and go, "Hey, I'm up to 93, miles per hour," and and show some velocity or something, and then the word gets out pretty quick to the right community, to college coaches, whatever it is. So, yeah, I think the valley stays well connected, but I think everyone in the country, thanks to social media and everyone being so reachable, there's less of those types of kids that slip through the cracks.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Reflection question for you, Gabe.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
What do you wish you would have known sooner about building wealth and success earlier in your career?
What had I known about building wealth or success earlier? Probably would have invested a little bit earlier, but you're also, especially when you're working in sports, you're focused on just trying to establish yourself in the industry, and so you kind of make money a secondary thing because you're just pursuing this dream so hard. So
Right.
if I could do it again, I'd love to give myself an extra hour or two every week when I was younger to kind of give more attention to those things. But yeah, in the
Sure.
time, you're just so, you're just trying to do everything you can to make this a real career.
Right. Right. So engrossed and immersed in the industry.
Yeah.
Right. That's a
Yeah.
common answer. I think a lot of people feel the same way.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, great. Thank you, Gabe. If people would like to connect with you or learn more, where should they go? What can they do?
Uh, Twitter at Gabe Alvarez and Instagram at USC Gabe. Both public profiles. I'm out there. You're going to get ransacked with a lot of USC football recruiting content and a lot of silly Norm Macdonald jokes and stuff. I keep it pretty simple, pretty loose, and root for my college USC quite loudly on there. And it's going to be a lot of concert. If you follow me on Instagram, it's going to be a lot of concert footage. I go to a lot of concerts, so if you want to be annoyed, I'm a great follow.
Nice. And was that were you at the what was the recent one? Morgan Wallen?
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of people there.
Yeah,
Okay.
went to night one with when he came out with Randy Johnson. So great concert. That was really well produced. That was my first time seeing Morgan Wallen. Great show. Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. All right. Well, thank you for everything. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. Thank you very much, Gabe Alvarez, for joining me today. We appreciate you sharing your insights into baseball and the industry at here locally. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Inspired by our guests? Visit PhoenixProsperityPodcast.com/guest and join us on the show and share your success story with Tim. The spotlight awaits.